Hello and welcome back to the Football Rundown. We're today talking about Stockport County. Of course, they take on Accrington Stanley at Edgeley Park tomorrow in a game which doesn't really have too much to offer up in terms of County. Have already done the job on Tuesday. We're going up as champions, there's no doubt about that. Accrington don't really have too much to play for as they find themselves 18th in League 2 at the moment. They're certainly not going to get relegated. They're certainly not going to be near the playoff places. So both teams really not a lot to play for. But one thing that there is to play for Stockport County is the effort to put in a good performance, because we don't want to lift that title at 5 o'clock or past 5 o'clock, having not really put in the best of performances. So as much as we kind of know that there'll be a title lift at the end of the game regardless of the result, I think it's still important that County do go and do a job against Accrington, of course, who haven't been in brilliant form. I think it's fair to say over the last few games, and County, of course, have been in brilliant form. Just before we get into talking about the game, which I don't think we'll spend too much time today talking about the game, because as I say, there isn't really too much to offer up from either set of sides. Obviously, the FA Cup has obviously been spoken about this week in the build-up to the semi-finals, where, of course, Manchester United will play Coventry and City, of course, will play Chelsea. They announced that they were going to make some changes to the FA Cup. There's been a bit of a hit back, I suppose, from the EFL on that. A lot of teams in the EFL feel that they weren't told about this, but they weren't told what these changes were going to be announced. I'm not too sure what's happening at the moment, but I know for certain the plan was to scrap FA Cup replays, and a lot of people are talking about fixture pile-ups and things like that for Premier League sides. And what I would say is the Premier League play 38 matches, EFL sides play 46 games in a league season. So the idea that there's too many fixtures for these Premier League sides that have better, sports science, all these kind of things, probably better physios, probably more physios, I can't really understand. I know they're talking about European games and stuff like that, and the reality is they're adding an extra 4 games, I think, as of next season in the Champions League. So even with them added games, it's you're still not going to play as many games as an EFL side might play in a league season. So I'm not too sure about that argument really. And as for FA Cup replays, how many Premier League sides are getting drawn in a replay against an EFL side in the FA Cup anyway? I mean, if we just go through it, this season in the FA Cup, yes, there have been FA Cup replays for Premier League sides, but a lot of them have faced one another. If we talk about the FA Cup replays that have taken place between a Premier League side and a side in the EFL, there's Forest Bristol City, which was taken to an FA Cup replay, West Ham versus Bristol, which was taken to an FA Cup replay, Forest versus Blackpool, Luton versus Bolton. I think they're all the games that Premier League sides have been taken to a replay this season in the FA Cup with an EFL side. In terms of them games where you end up playing a fellow Premier League side an FA Cup replay, possibly somewhere to meet in the middle. There could be an agreement where a Premier League side that faces another Premier League side in the FA Cup, maybe you don't have replays for them kind of games, but keep the replays for teams that are in the EFL or even in the National League and lower. That might be a good compromise, because at the end of the day, it's not the Premier League side, it's not the EFL sides or the National League side's fault if they're managing to take a Premier League side to a replay. It's the fault of the Premier League side for not being good enough to beat that opposition on the day. So at the end of the day, I think that's the punishment. If you're a Premier League side and you've got European football, and then you end up being taken to a replay against a side in a lower division, that's almost on you. That's almost the punishment for not beating a side which, with the financial power that you've got, the ability of the players you've got on the pitch, you should really well and truly be beaten. So, as I say, it doesn't happen very often, either, that these Premier League teams are getting replays in a time they're playing European matches anyway. It doesn't really happen. But even if it does happen, it's because you haven't done your job in the first game. So obviously a lot of people have shared their thoughts on it. I think, I can see both sides. I can see it selfishly. If you're a Premier League manager, of course you want your players as fit as possible. If you've got European matches and then you don't want FA Cup replays, I get that point. You don't want extra games. No manager wants extra games unless, of course, you're going into, en route to a final. But these replays, I suppose, can feel a little bit frustrating. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's football. And if you're not getting the result, then it's on you to have to go to a replay. At the end of the day, that's something that's been historic in English tradition in the FA Cup. We can't be changing it because some foreign managers don't like it. And don't get me wrong, it's not just foreign managers, but a lot of the top managers these days in the Premier League are foreign managers. They're coming in and they're saying, you know what, we respect it apparently, but we want to change it. And at the end of the day, there's so many football sides that rely on these FA Cup replays. For money for potentially to increase the squad, the stadium, all these factors, the money that the FA Cup can bring to these lower sides. It's disrespectful, and like I say, it's a few it's a minority that, at the end of the day, it's the mouthy minority, which is the Premier League clubs, which are hitting back against it. They don't like replays. You've got to deal with it. So, only get your thoughts on that, and I'm sure you'll have a viewpoint on it. But going into the game tomorrow, what are the stats like then from Stockport County and Accrington Stanley then? Well, Stockport County, as I say, are in fine form. Of course, they sealed up promotion last Saturday. They sealed up the title on Tuesday. They've won 7 of the last 12. They're unbeaten in the last 12, with, as I say, with 7 wins, scoring 25 goals in that time, conceding just 7 with 7 clean sheets. So Stockport County are in absolutely fantastic form. Very, very different though for Accrington Stanley, who, as I say, do find themselves 18th in League 2, and in the last 12 games they've lost 8 of their matches, winning just twice and drawing twice, conceding 25 goals in that time, scoring just 11 with just a 1 clean sheet. So Accrington Stanley will not be turning up to Edgeley Park tomorrow confident of a win, confident of even a point from the game because the form county are in. And I'm sure, as I say, it'll be a similar game to the game against Morecambe last Saturday at Edgeley Park, where Stockport County should really get the job done. We were saying before as well about what Stockport County, what are they chasing now with promotion sealed, with the title sealed up? What is there really to play for now other than just putting on a good performance for the players and the fans before that title lift tomorrow night then? Well, I suppose there are still a few records they can chase, and one of them is potentially to score 100 goals in League 2. It's very far because we have scored 91 goals so far this season in League 2. The chance of scoring 9 in the next or remaining 2 matches is unlikely, but it is still a slight possibility. So Stockport have scored 91 goals, as I say, this season. They could still make it to 100, but if they don't, they could chase Notts County's record, where Notts County scored 96 goals in League 2 the season they were promoted as champions in 2009-10. In fact, they finished that season with 96 goals, so we've got to score 5 from the remaining 2. They also finished that season on 93 points as champions. If Stockport County were to win tomorrow, they would just be 1 point short of equaling that Notts County record that goes back to 2009-10. So it's unlikely that Stockport County will make it to 100 league goals in League 2 this season, but they could, as I say, still equal or possibly overtake Notts County's record in League 2 for goals scored in a season. Let's have a look then at the top 5 clubs to have scored the most goals in League 2 then. We've obviously got Notts County top with 96 goals in League 2, 2009-10. Stockport County currently second on that list with 91 goals so far this season. Of course, in the 23-24 season, Luton Town scored 94 goals in the 17-18 season. However, they finished second place that season, runner-up in League 2. Yeovil Town scored 90 in the 2004-5 season, and Port Vale went up in third place, taking that final automatic spot in the 2012-13 season, where they scored 87 goals. So Stockport County are currently second on that list, but as I said, they could go top, they could equal it if they are able to get 5 from the remaining 2 matches. How possible do you think it is that Stockport County can score 5 from the next 2 fixtures? In my opinion, with the form Accrington are in at the moment, we could get quite a few goals against them tomorrow, as long as they don't pull off a surprise against us. We know that this game tomorrow is almost a dead rubber. We know that we've gone up as champions. In terms of injuries, I'm not too sure where we're at in regards to that, although Tanto Alafi missed out on Tuesday night. I wonder if he'll be available or be made available, I suppose, for tomorrow's match. But a few people are saying in the comments on the stream on Tuesday night, what kind of a side do you think you'll see? Do you think we'll see a mixture of players? Do you think we'll see academy players or fringe players come in? Well, obviously, Stockport County have since announced that game against Brentford B side on Tuesday, which is meant to be an opportunity for young players and fringe players who haven't had minutes so far this season. So up until I saw that announcement, I thought there's a good chance we do see quite a lot of fringe players. However, I don't think it'd make too much sense to have that fixture on Tuesday which is basically meant for fringe players, if you're going to play fringe players on Saturday. So I'm not too sure what kind of a side we're going to see start the game tomorrow, but all I would say is I think Dave Challoner would want to end the season strongly, and I don't think he'll be putting in players that he doesn't think are capable of helping us win the game tomorrow. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I do think we possibly could see 1 or 2 players who have been on the bench recently, but I don't think you're going to see players like Ben Knight start the game, for example, because he hasn't had any minutes, I don't think, for Stockport County so far this season. I can't see him doing it in a game where we really we want to win to try and end the season at Edgeley Park with with a win. So I'm not too sure what kind of a side we're going to see. Let me know your thoughts in terms of the team selection. What kind of a team do you want to see? Because as someone who's going to the game tomorrow, I still want us to put out a competitive side. Another thing I want to just sort of, I suppose, send the message to for people who are going to the game tomorrow. Obviously, we had the pitch invasion last week, which I get it. You get promoted, you want to be on the pitch. I was one of them that ended up on the pitch as well. But I think that this week it's pretty clear. I think County have made it pretty clear as well. They don't want to see people on the pitch post matches. They want to be able to have the trophy lift and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully people try and stay off the pitch if possible. Maybe if they allow you on the pitch afterwards, which I don't think they would, but maybe then that's your chance to do it. But we had our chance last week to go on the pitch, and I think that it's probably best that we try not get on the pitch tomorrow because we want to see that title lift and we want to see it done. Disappointing for me that obviously last week fans did go on the pitch. People were then sort of leaving the ground, so I wasn't aware that there was a League Two promotion presentation being presented to the fans, so therefore I missed that. Unfortunately, it didn't make the vlog, so disappointed about that. But we know there's going to be a trophy lift tomorrow at Edgeley Park, so please try and respect the fact that they don't want fans on the pitch. And like I say, if there's an opportunity to potentially go on afterwards, then maybe then that's your chance. But I certainly won't be pushing to get on the pitch tomorrow. And I'd like to think that I wouldn't end up on the pitch just because others do, like I did last week. So I think that's basically the message from Stockport County. Try not to go on the pitch tomorrow if possible, because we want to see that trophy lift done as best as possible. So like I said, I want to get people's thoughts in the comments below in terms of the game tomorrow. What's your feeling of the season ahead, I suppose, as well, going up to League One as well. But what a fantastic season it's been. I'll tell you what, in the comment section below, try and reflect on your best moment of League Two this season for Stockport County. So I was going to say so far, but I suppose an incredible moment could still happen. But as of yet, what's your best memory in League Two this season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget, of course, to let me know your score prediction ahead of the game tomorrow as well, if you're still interested in the score prediction. Now that, as I say, the season's pretty much done and dusted, but like I say, hopefully people do enjoy the game as well, and hopefully you enjoy that title lift, that trophy lift. And if you aren't going to be there to see it tomorrow for whatever reason, then you can watch it all on this channel with the matchday vlog coming out later on tomorrow evening. And of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. And thanks to everyone who's watched this season. Hopefully I'll see you there tomorrow where we will be lifting that title. And if not, it's been a fantastic season. Thanks to everyone who has supported the channel. So as I say, we will have the matchday vlog out on this channel tomorrow night. I hope you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching.